Handsome Hockey Podcast. 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 Handsome Hockey Podcast.
Handsome Hockey Podcast.
I guess we should probably officially start.
Yeah, we can do that.
We can, say the things.
I just did like a random pivot to hockey stuff. And,
It was much appreciated, and now here we are. This is Handsome Hockey Podcast, episode 53, coming to you live from Portland, Oregon.
Sunny Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, for the most part, it's not shitty.
No, it's nice out. It's been really nice weekend.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it thoroughly. I went for a walk on what was it, Thursday? I was like, this is weird.
We also did one walk.
Yeah, it was dry. It's weird.
Strange.
Yeah. My name is Jake, and sitting across from me is Evan.
Hey, I'm Evan, and we're here to talk to you about some handsome hockey.
Specifically, how bad the Oilers are.
Yeah, they're not playing very handsome right now. I mean, they may be handsome off the ice, but, kind of ugly on it.
Well, I don't know. Connor McDavid's not an ugly guy.
No, but...
I don't know if I'd call him handsome, but he's definitely not ugly.
Yeah, he's sort of like a little unkempt.
He's like a 6.
Yeah, but he's sort of unkempt in like a gamer kind of way. Like...
With his reflexes, you'd think he'd be like one of the best gamers of all time.
That's true.
If his thumb coordination is as good as his hockey coordination, he could be destroying fools on WoW.
That'd be hilarious if like he's better at the NHL video game than he is at hockey.
He's like ranked number 1 in Chell. The Rangers suck. They have
Rangers.
Let me start that over.
It's like, I don't think the Rangers suck.
The Rangers are okay, actually. Yeah. No, the Oilers suck. They have no defense. They paid
have no goaltending.
Well, I was going to get to that because it's even more stark.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. They paid Darnell Nurse a lot of money to be not very good.
Mm-hmm.
They traded for Duncan Keith, which is going exactly how you might have thought it would.
They sent Ethan Bear away.
Yeah, like their most talented young defender. They're like, we've seen enough. Go play really well for Carolina.
Yeah, we're going to put you on a real team.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about someone who won the Edmonton Oilers sweepstakes. Like, Ethan Bear got out the sinking ship.
They're, as Evan alluded to earlier, their goalies all are bad. Which is another thing that like any competent GM could have seen, like, wow, maybe I shouldn't go into the season with like prone to break overager Mike Smith and
perennial underachiever Mikko Koskinen.
He's only an underachiever because his contract is so high for a backup goalie.
Another one of those GM things starts to kind of...
Did Holland sign that deal, or is that a Chiarelli thing?
I don't know, but yeah, either way, it's bad.
It's bad, yeah. So they also like we had a couple of weeks of like Stuart Skinner. He's gonna be the guy.
I mean, his numbers both in the NHL and in the AHL are like okay. He's maybe their goalie of the future, but he's still very young.
Thankfully, Mikko Koskinen, oh wow, his contract is even worse than I thought. It's $4.5 million a year. My bad. I thought it was 3.5. It is up after this year though, so he's got that. Stuart Skinner's 23, but like at the same time, he's gotten bludgeoned the last couple of times out, which granted that's happened to every Edmonton goalie this year, especially since their defense is apparently even worse than like the Red Wings.
Duncan Keith, great in the room, not on the ice.
I don't know how much longer I can be excited to watch Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in Edmonton.
You just kind of want to find a way to get them out of there.
I just feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, Canadian SEAL Team 6 is going to get called up by Justin Trudeau to extract these two guys from the grips of their just shitty ownership and GM combo.
Well, help may be on the way in the form of notorious team cancer and person everyone hates, Evander Kane.
Yeah. Can't believe that that's A, happening, and B, gonna go well.
What will probably happen is he'll come in, he'll have a great end of the year. The Oilers will sneak into the playoffs, and Ken Holland will give him a 6-year, $6 million contract that will immediately blow up right in his face.
I mean, it's going to be hard for him to party with that money because it's all probably spoken for by the terms of his bankruptcy. I remember for a while, San Jose was talking about canceling his contract because he wanted them to cancel the contract just so all of that money was not going to get garnished.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Well, and I think it was Sean McIndoe who kind of raised the issue that he can't really sign a cheap deal because of his financial implications. He can't, just take a flyer on a team and go where the cup is going to. He really needs to get his market value to pay his debts, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and substantial. Isn't it 20 million or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot.
It's impressive. What's the gambling situation like in Edmonton? Do they have casinos there?
I would assume so. Are they up to the standard of Evander Kane's normal casino life, where he's leaning off a balcony in Vegas holding stacks of hundos? Probably not. But hey. Edmonton nightlife might be a wild and crazy time. I have no idea. So yeah, watching Edmonton implode after their incredibly strong start has been funny. Yes, that's what it is.
It just kind of makes you go, ha ha.
This was always going to be how this played out when you hired Ken Holland.
Yeah.
The man's not a good GM anymore.
Oop.
When you give him a salary cap, he goes, wait, what's this? Wait, we've had it for 20 years now? Oh, no. He's just not good at this. And it shows a competent GM versus Ken Holland when Yzerman came in and almost immediately eviscerated the entire roster and then traded Ken Holland, Mike Green's corpse, and Andreas Athanasiou, and got second and third round picks for it. Athanasiou played something like 20 games in Edmonton and immediately wasn't re-signed and signed with LA. Mike Green retired after 2 games in Edmonton. And Steve Yzerman got a third and a fourth for him. This is that's Ken Holland.
Somebody's got to be the league whipping boy.
It's damn near obviously Ken Holland. The only reason his team is even remotely relevant is because he has 2 of the 3 best players in the world on it.
Yeah, and lucked into that after how many chances at picking first between him and Chiarelli? They ended up sucking for so long that at least a couple of those picks were bound to pan out. And oh, look, they did. And now those players are just marooned on this desert island of a roster.
It's a trash fire there.
It's a trash fire on a desert island.
Yeah, which, I mean, if you're going to have a trash fire, I'm guessing that's probably the best place for it. But it's painful to watch. The reason it's funny is because it's Ken Holland and I'm a Red Wings fan. That's why it's funny. I do genuinely feel bad for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But it sucks to watch this.
But when they inevitably launder the addition of Evander Kane to their roster, both of those guys are going to lose so much goodwill with the media just because their GM is making this incredibly controversial decision and they have to toe the line. Connor McDavid's already gotten trashed on because he's just didn't come out against it, because that's not something that he would ever do.
He said one thing about the Olympics and people were like, whoa, did he just have an opinion?
Yeah.
We didn't know you were allowed, Connor.
Is there some flavor in this milk? What? I'm confused.
It's smilk.
I didn't remember Brian's strawberry milk.
I mean, we've probably spent enough time on the fact that the Oilers suck. It's just kind of funny. And let's stay in Canada, though, for a little bit.
And also with teams that are underachieving.
We're actually staying in Canada for quite a while, if I look at the script here.
Yeah, just our nice Canadian vacation.
It's the wrong time. It's the wrong time of year for that.
Not if you want cheap deals. That off season.
That's true. You could probably get to Edmonton for like $4 right now.
Yeah, we're not actually going to Florida. I'm going to Red Deer.
Well, we're about to talk about Red Deer. So the Jets are exploring leaving their arena in Winnipeg because of COVID restrictions in the province and playing their home games in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan to avoid attendance caps. Thinking outside of the box, kind of cool, but like
sort of can't blame them. Like it's a hard life out there for ownership and teams in Canada right now. Like, is this kind of a Bush League move to just take your team on the road? Yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting. It's a way to deal with the problem. Like,
but like, what are your attendance figures going to be? Your season ticket holders probably aren't going. So you'd probably have to refund some money, I would think, for games that can't be played.
It's a really weird and interesting move that they've only, I think, started exploring. I think they contacted their season ticket holders or something, or like polled them. But yeah, it's hard to see pulling more fans in a strange arena hours away than you can pull at home with an attendance cap. I don't know. It's a really funky move.
It's a 9-hour drive from Saskatoon to Winnipeg.
Wow.
So okay. I don't think they're going to get the home fan support.
Yeah. Although, I mean, regionally, those people are still probably Jets fans.
No, they're probably Edmonton fans. They're closer to Edmonton and Calgary than they are to Winnipeg.
Interesting.
Thank you, Google Maps. That they would contemplate playing games in Saskatoon. They would just be like running back to Saskatoon. I've been hanging around libraries. I've been learning about books. I've been talking to playwriters. I've been working on words and phrases, Moose Jaw, Broadview, Mooseman 2, running back to Saskatoon. Red Deer, Terrace, Hannah, Medicine Hat.
Sounds like suburban housing developments.
Sounds like the Jets want to sing another prairie tune. That is the lyrics to Running Back to Saskatoon by the amazing Guess who are a Saskatchewan band.
Oh, wow. You're just blowing my mind here with so much culture.
Considering they're the band that wrote American Woman, it's kind of weird that they're from Saskatchewan, but I
mean, that just shows you the impression Americans have on Canadians.
Hey, I'm Neil Young, man. Also from Winnipeg. So there you go. Full circle. Yeah. I think this ends up being a nothing burger, and I think the Jets end up staying in Winnipeg. Most of their games have been canceled anyways or postponed anyways.
Right.
So why not just wait and play the games at home?
Yeah.
And it seems weird that
forcing people into their private jets to go to Saskatchewan.
All that giant fleet of private jets in Winnipeg is hopefully there's enough space at the regional airport in Saskatoon to, and again, not making fun of Canadian provinces or cities. It's just like Saskatoon ain't big.
No,
it's not a burgeoning metropolis. It's 273,000 people.
Okay. That's bigger than I was thinking.
It's not tiny. Saskatchewan is a Canadian province that borders the United States to the south. Grassland covers its southern plains, and to the north are the rugged rock of the Canadian Shield Plateau. Coniferous forests, rivers, and lakes.
Did you say carnivorous forests?
Coniferous. Regina, I believe it's Regina, not Regina. I believe it's Regina. The provincial capital is home to the Royal Saskatchewan Museum, which with exhibits on natural history and the people of Canada's First Nation. We're actually a travel podcast.
Today on Rick Steves.
I think the Jets end up staying in Winnipeg. It doesn't sound like a real, actual feasible plan. I applaud the Jets for thinking out of the box here, but just play your games at home.
Yeah, it seemed more reasonable before you showed us that there was a 9-hour drive in the middle. Like, oh yeah.
Through nothingness in the winter in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a Tesla, you just like put it on autopilot and, you know, you maybe hit a moose on the way, but...
You could hit 1 moose or 3 moose, but it's always moose.
Yep. Never meese, never mooses. Moose in an N.
Look at all those moose. There's a moose.
I love English.
Also in Canada, we're just jotting across the entire breadth of the continent today, actually.
We're getting fancier, though. We're going to Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, it's like... I like that you held your pinky out while you said that, and it feels appropriate. So Keegan Mitchell, who plays for the Sherwood Metros in the Prince Edward Island Junior B League, was suspended indefinitely by Prince Edward Island Hockey for violating their social media policy. Now, what he did to violate that social media policy was he called them out for being racist. He was suspended 2 games for slashing a player who had said anti-Asian slurs at a teammate of his. The player who used the anti-Asian slur was also suspended 2 games.
Right.
So Keegan Mitchell, for being a stand-up dude, got 2 games and an indefinite suspension. And this...
he got the indefinite suspension for... calling out the league for giving matching suspensions for
racism and slashing.
Right.
Yeah.
And
similar things.
Yeah. The league, you know, equivalent of both you guys go to the box. But
this guy had a knife.
Yeah, one of these things is maybe not like the other. So there was a lot of pushback in social media, people calling out this league, and they eventually caved.
Yeah, they caved, but like... if they'd done this in the first place, we're not even talking about the Prince Edward Island Junior B League, right?
Right.
Or we're saying, hey, they suspended this kid for being racist. That's pretty rad. Instead, we're talking about how they look like a bunch of backpedaling turds because they backpedaled into giving the offending player a 5-game suspension. So they extended his suspension by 3 games and rescinded the indefinite suspension of Keegan Mitchell. And it's like, and then talked about how they have their corgi walk. Sorry guys.
Corgi butts.
Corgi butts drive me nuts.
Corgi butts alert.
So and then like puts out this statement about how, oh, Keegan's actions have shown us how our policies are in dire need of blah blah blah. Like, you think?
Yeah, maybe don't come down harder on the person exposing you than the person that, you know, said the racist thing. This is an appropriate response. You know, I think the league eventually, under pressure, did probably the correct thing. You know, keeping stand his 2-game suspension for slashing. Must have been one hell of a slash.
Yeah, I'd love to see that slash. Like 2 games for a slash? Was it to the throat?
Yeah, did he Duncan Keith the guy and tomahawk him like with a wind up and overhead slash to the throat? Like,
was it like Frank Thomas going to bat? Like, what was this?
2 games for a slash must have been amazing.
That's a hearty slash.
Sounds like they had a hell of a night and they're having a hell of a time dealing with the aftermath.
Good. They're like, the fallout from this should be substantive. And
I mean, this league.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things that Keegan Mitchell said in his post that got him his indefinite suspension was that, you know, like, you should always stand up against racism wherever it rears its ugly head. And he also said, like, by suspending him just as much as you suspended the racist player, you're saying, like, hey, look, everybody, Prince Edward Island is really fucking racist. And it's like, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
like, there's a public image thing here too.
This Keegan Mitchell guy really, you know, did a number on this league. He sounded like he was willing to essentially forego the rest of his junior hockey career to have
to make a
league,
stand.
Yeah, to have this league just eat shit.
Yeah,
and like, good for him.
Yeah, yeah. Keegan Mitchell, you are our hero of this episode. Speaking more about heroes and staying in Canada, the Hockey Diversity Alliance, which was created during the bubble season, they created that during the racial tensions following the murder of George Floyd and subsequent discrimination by police officers throughout the mostly United States, but also Canada.
Right.
They haven't gone away as much as the NHL would like them to.
Yeah. Funny. Like the NHL, paid lip service back, a year and change ago. And now crickets when they want to film a nice ad for their movement.
Yeah, we'll get to that part. That's called foreshadowing. We do a lot of that in the podcast. They are still going strong, trying to make hockey a more inclusive space, a less racist space. They're also trying to help grow the game in communities of color throughout North America. All noble causes. They just partnered with Budweiser to start the hashtag Tape Out Hate campaign.
Oh, tape? Oh, I thought it was Tap Out Hate.
We all hate tap out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they don't need a hashtag for that. It's just a given. If you wear a tap out shirt, bye.
Hate be upon you.
Bye, Felicia. So the Tape Out Hate campaign focuses on stick tape that features messages of positive reinforcement for BIPOC hockey players. And I was looking at it. It looks like the tape is about $4 a roll or so. And $1 from every roll goes to the Hockey Diversity Alliance. Just like a shout out to our small social media following. I tried to buy some of this tape and it looks like it's only available in Canada. If you know how to get this tape in the United States, add us, send us a message, a DM or whatever at Handsome Hockey on Twitter. We would love to get some tape and support this. I couldn't find a way to buy it and get it shipped to the US, so I just bought a t-shirt instead.
So they put together a video. They filmed a video with, I think the funding came from Budweiser. They ended up filming the video in their very cool looking black Hockey Diversity Alliance jerseys.
Yeah, they're sweet.
A lot of people ask the question, why aren't you guys just in your team jerseys? And, well, it turns out that's because the NHL did not want to support this video. They did not want them in their league jerseys and necessitated them use these, cool-looking jerseys. But I think it would have been a bigger impression had they used their regular NHL team jerseys.
Yeah, the NHL forbade them. Right. It wasn't just like, no, we're not going to support this. It's like, no, you absolutely can't do this.
Yeah, if you don't do what we want, we send the lawyers after you.
The initial idea for the video was to have them skating around in their NHL jerseys and be have the messages that are on the tape kind of said over and over. And then they sat them down and started filming them talking about their experiences. And that was only supposed to take a couple minutes and it ended up taking hours. And they were like, no, this is the video. We're going to feature this. And it's, several of these guys sharing the traumatic experiences that they've had growing up in the game of hockey and still to this day playing in the NHL, the abuse that they get from fans and commentators. It's absurd. And the video, look it up. It's all over social media at this point. It's awesome. The Hockey Diversity Alliance is at the official HDA on Twitter. You can see the video there. You should follow them anyways and support their messages and their this campaign in general.
Yeah, they're also at hockeydiversityalliance.org, and that's where you can not buy their tape if you're an American, but you can buy other stuff like hoodies, t-shirts. Their branding is really cool, and it's nice to see that they've gotten a corporate sponsor in Budweiser. Who would have thought that Budweiser would carry the NHL's water in terms of funding diversity, especially after the league did make milquetoast statements, and they kind of hand waved last year we're going to support some diversity, and everyone knew that was such a fucking fake. But this really has come full circle and exposed the NHL just kind of hiding behind this veneer of progress. Like, racism in hockey does not go away just because it's not the loudest thing in the room. Like, it takes continual work. It takes continual addressing of, you know, these issues, like when they crop up, like they did in Prince Edward Island. You can't just kind of run from it because it's not convenient to talk about right now. And that's exactly what the NHL has done. And, you know, it's incredible. As Nikita Kucherov said, number one bullshit, that the NHL has, you know, just kind of abandoned this effort that they started to make inroads to look good last year.
They actually had some cool stuff in the bubble. Like, they had the We Skate for Black Lives.
Yeah, sure. Where is it now?
It was gone in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Then it was like, we skate for cool things in St. Louis. Yeah, like barbecue. Woo. Like it turned into a fucking joke real quick. And it's like we all knew like this was lip service by the NHL.
Everybody saw this coming from 1,000 miles away, and it still sucks. It still sucks just to see, you know, this empty platitude get exposed for what it is.
It's so bad that not only did the NHL say they would promote it, and they did by saying, proud to partner with Budweiser, who is supporting Tape Out Hate, and made no mention of the Hockey Diversity Alliance whatsoever.
Yeah.
They also, it came out that the Hockey Diversity Alliance had been trying to get them to support this campaign for a year, a full year. The Hockey Diversity Alliance has only been a thing for like 2 years. So like half of their life, like the lifespan of the Hockey Diversity Alliance, has been spent trying to get the NHL to step up to the plate and support this program and this hashtag and this campaign. And the NHL said, nah. And like, it's such a slap in the face by the league. And what it really shows, like, once more, everything in the bubble and during the height of Black Lives Matter was for show.
Right.
It, like, their decision not to cancel games when they first should have was not a misstep by the league, but because they didn't fucking care and they didn't think people would care.
Right.
It just shows that there's a complete lack of give a fuck in cultivating the game of hockey in communities of color, and also supporting, you know, BIPOC members in the hockey community when they come up against this racist element of hockey, which is very pervasive.
Right. And like, you know, Budweiser isn't just in it for funds and feels. Like,
fuck no.
You know,
they're making money,
and they know that this is actually popular, that you know, diversity in hockey is something that a lot of people care about. Like, the companies have run the numbers, but apparently the NHL hasn't. So I don't know. I think it's really interesting that, you know, a large sponsor has gotten involved like this, and the league is just still like bumbling around, and you know, the same old white men are like, well, I don't know if I can support diversity.
So what you're saying is diversity in hockey is like Build Back Better in West Virginia, and the NHL
is like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Yeah.
Fucking trash. Anyways.
Yeah, absolute trash.
This just shows, honestly, like, we've been talking about this off and on for, gosh, however long we've been doing this podcast now. Actually, I think we're like just past our year mark of publishing. So happy birthday.
Yay. We're one.
Yay. Which I guess it makes sense. It's a 53rd episode. So yeah, kind of.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Funny how that happens. I guess.
Wild.
I mean, that means that we've sort of hit an average of once a week.
We're on top of it. Yeah. We're great. We're a professional podcast. What this really just shows, though, is that the leadership of the league needs to be, I said cold in the notes. That is, you know, kind of brings up images of murder. We don't want to murder anybody, but people need to be removed from power in the NHL, and there needs to be new leadership that is forward thinking and aware. Like that's the big thing is it seems like the leadership of the NHL is just not aware of the situation around them. Like they're sitting there holding tight to their like milk toast white pearls, like waiting for people to not be angry about racism again. And it's like, this shit's been going on for a long ass time. Like it's just now coming to hockey, and guess what? It's not going away. So,
I mean, this league is back-asswards enough that half the old white men, the same 300 white men that get the same jobs at front offices across the league, like half of them whined about, Trevor Zegras tossing a puck over the net and having his buddy whack it in for a goal.
Yeah.
Like,
bad for the game.
Exactly. So, that they're
that goal gave Mike Babcock hemorrhoids.
That they are still, not doing a good job being inclusive and addressing diversity issues is relatively congruent with what they are in the rest of the league. I genuinely think there is, an upswell of people that know better that work at the league, but I think it is still just the people in positions of power that do the executive decisions and the editing. Those are still the old white guys, and those are still the people that don't know how to deal with this stuff. And I mean, it's not, I think a lot of people are just scared of it. And how do you deal with it? You just are forthright and forthcoming and earnest, and you just deal with it head on. And like, if the NHL had just allowed these guys to use their team jerseys and given them even a pittance of cash, we would not be having this embarrassing moment and angersome moment for a lot of fans. Yeah, the NHL, one of the most incompetently run major sports leagues in the world.
If you don't want to deal with it, fine. Hire somebody who does,
right,
and just let them do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If Gary Bettman is like, I don't want people of color in this game, like, okay, you know what? Fuck you, but whatever. Just hire somebody to do it. So like, you can grow your game.
And I don't think Gary Bettman feels that way. I think he would much rather it be a diverse game, but he is scared and doesn't want to piss off the old white men. And like, and he knows who the ones are that he doesn't want to piss off. It's a political thing, and the missteps that are being made are political.
You know how you grow your game? Put it in more communities.
Right.
You know what that's called? Markets.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on to good things now.
Yeah. You know who is doing a good job in terms of inclusivity and diversity? The Kalamazoo K-Wings. Exactly who you would expect.
Exactly. Nothing like Kalamazoo, which is a real city name in Michigan.
Kalamazoo's kind of sweet, actually.
It's got Western Michigan in it. I've been to some pretty cool bars. Bell's is there.
Yeah, it's got a good nexus of craft brewing. I don't know. I've always liked Kalamazoo.
It's fine.
But they painted their ice rink ice with the pride flag, calling it Rainbow Ice in their show of solidarity with LGBTQ communities. And I only hope that they also had slushies available with all of these colors at the game, because
if not, that's a misstep.
It looked pretty cool. And also, different colored slushies are super cheap to make.
We say this a lot, I think, but like, check out, we retweeted a bunch of stuff about it. Look up the Kalamazoo K-Wings, their social media. They've got a ton of stuff out about it. It looks really cool. Like, it's like taking the purple center ice from the Wubble to like, and taking it and going plaid with it. Like, it's insane. Like, it's not just from blue line to blue line. It goes damn near to like the tops of the circles in each zone. You can't miss it.
It's got to feel like you're playing hockey on Rainbow Road in like Mario Kart. Mixed with like playing football at Boise State's stadium.
Yeah. It's really cool looking. Like, I watched probably like a period and a half of one of their games because they stream them online, and it's intense. It's really obvious that it's a pride flag.
Do the referees like really stand out?
Yeah, because they're white and black against a plethora of color.
It's got to be funny.
It's awesome. The players really stood out against it too. It actually looked really cool. Like it was awesome to see, especially a town in Michigan, which isn't always the most progressive of places. They tried to kidnap the governor for making people wear masks. So
Kalamazoo is like one of the liberal strongholds in Michigan.
There's a college there, so that helps. Go Broncos. Actually, Western Michigan, who has one hell of a hockey team this year.
Yeah.
It's super cool to see a minor league team taking this kind of stand. They wore pride jerseys as well. I think they were black with like the letters in a rainbow hue. They looked cool. They won the game. Actually had a couple of really good goals. It's thoughtful.
Yeah, it's a nice, it's a spectacle. Like we talk about spectacles being kind of fleeting and maybe not having, the force of kind of like a groundswell movement, but the spectacle also shows like a buy-in from the top and it sends a message. I think it takes these actions to help kind of make this interesting, make it a conversation, but we definitely look forward to a time when it doesn't need to be a spectacle to make a conversation anymore. It's just an equal playing field.
Yeah, absolutely. That's well said. What this shows is like they're willing to put money towards it because tweeting solidarity or tweeting like Twitter is free. Having a Twitter account is free.
Right.
The owner could actually be the controller. You don't even need a social media person if the owner wants to just be that guy. But like tweeting support is free. Painting your fucking ice is not free. That costs money. That shows that you're willing to also put like a monetary backing towards your support. Like they got jerseys, like those are not cheap, as we know, because we just ordered some for the team and those are way cheaper than minor league caliber ice hockey jerseys. Like this shows an actual like you're willing to also put money towards this statement of solidarity. And that's honestly, that's part of growing a movement is financing that movement.
Yeah. And you put money towards solidarity instead of putting money towards making teachers scramble for cash at center ice during an intermission. Like, you've made a good decision that hopefully pays some dividends.
Good job, state of Michigan. You don't always have the most... My home state, you don't always have the most sterling reputation as a liberal beacon, but this is pretty cool. So I was...
Good job, K-Wings.
I saw I have been to several K-Wings games in my life. I got Marty Turco's autograph. He was a goaltender for the K-Wings after college.
So what is a K-Wing?
It's a wing that's shaped like a K.
Is it like...
Well, they're the Kalamazoo Wings.
Yeah,
so but I mean, K-Wings.
Is the K-Wing like a little-known Star Wars fighter for the Rebels? It's like an X-Wing that like didn't fully its wings couldn't come apart, and so it's stuck as a K. Yeah, is it a K? Is a K-Wing like a breaded chicken wing that's breaded with like special K?
Which would actually make a lot of sense in Kalamazoo because Battle Creek is right up the street and Special K is a Kellogg cereal and fuck Kellogg's. I think I just saw something like $380,000 or boxes of Kellogg's cereal was seized in Mexico because the cartoons on the boxes violate laws promoting healthiness for children.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Mexico is now bludgeoning us over our unhealthy breakfast cereals.
Fuck Kellogg's.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Pay your workers, you stupid savages. Fuck off. Union solidarity forever. Anyways, let's move on. We also want to talk about the PHF for a little bit. We had some cool stuff happen this weekend. As we record, the Whale and the Riv are playing. They have completed one period. It's 0-0 at the break. Toronto had themselves a weekend.
Yeah, Toronto scored a whole lot more than 6.
Yeah, the Toronto 6 were like, you know what? Double it and then some. They scored 14 goals in 2 games against the Buffalo Buttes this weekend. They real good.
Our joke about the Toronto 6 having to score 6 goals to win has kind of come true.
except they're playing way better defense.
Yeah, I know.
But
they're still putting up 6 goals.
Yeah, they are doing the offensive part of that. They're also like Elaine Chuli is insane. Yes, they did this against the Buffalo Buttes, and the Buffalo Buttes are bad. They have a young team. We talked about this in our PHF preview.
They're just in the basement of the league. Someone's got to be in that spot.
Yeah, well, and things really had to gel quickly, and young talent had to rise quickly for Buffalo to be good this year. And instead, it's like Carly Jackson just getting shelled, which sucks because she has the best mullet ever, and is also a fantastic goalie, and is on my PHF fantasy team.
I feel like the Buffalo goalies should just have a union in which they just commiserate.
They should be striking right now. Grain of salt, it's against Buffalo, but at the same time, 8-3 and 6-1 are bludgeonings.
That's authoritative.
Yeah.
You have won with authority.
Last season's MVP, Mikyla Grant-Mentis, has been somehow even more of a force this season. She is crushing everything. She leads the league in goals and assists and is averaging 2.1 points per game. I think she's 8 points ahead of the next closest player.
Damn.
I don't think there were any doubters about her being the rightful MVP last year, but just in case there were, that's done.
Sounds like she's definitely made the case for winning MVP twice in a row.
She is incredible and has been playing at a level that nobody in the league can match right now, except maybe her goalie, Elaine Chuli. 1.08 goals against average,
Jesus.
A .955 save percentage.
Jesus, that's...
If you can give a goalie the MVP of the league right now, Elaine Chuli and Mikyla Grant-Mentis have to be neck and neck because they have both been absurd this season. And Toronto has rightfully so taken their place atop the standings. I think they've got a full game lead at least over second place Connecticut at this point.
Did you take Elaine Chuli in your fantasy league?
I didn't. I took Abby Ives and Carly Jackson. Abby Ives having a great year, not even remotely as good as Elaine Chuli's year, but still very good. Carly Jackson's getting bludgeoned, so that's a bummer. We did hit a milestone on yesterday's game. Shannon Turner, formerly Doyle of the Connecticut Whale, played their 100th game, celebrated in style by scoring on a laser from the point. 100 games in a league that's only been around for 6 years or 6.5. That's one hell of a milestone. You've played in almost every game in the history of the Whale. Congratulations. Right. Yeah. That's another thing. All of these games she has competed for the Connecticut Whale, my beloved Connecticut Whale. She came out and said it's also a bittersweet moment because she knows that there won't be another 100 games, which is really sad to hear. But at the same time, it's really self-aware and it's really, it's just awesome to see somebody who has given so much to the PHF/NWHL, given so much to promote women's hockey and, girls hockey, and giving young women somebody to look up to and aspire to be in the game. You can look at Shannon Turner and say, she plays professional hockey. I can do that too. Also, somebody who's been so kind of vociferous about it is Shannon Turner is a lights out superstar and somebody that, we should all aspire to be. And so having them hit that 100 game mark is really awesome to see. And the fact that they scored while doing it, pretty rad.
Yeah. Her comments to me kind of underscore how precarious, playing in this league can be. I know, to play 100 games in the PHF, I'm sure she's had to make a lot of professional and personal sacrifices. And I know a lot of these women do, because it's not, it's a professional league, but it's not professional in the same way yet that men's hockey is. And
you're not making a living playing in the PHF yet.
No, but I think
hopefully someday soon.
I think if that were...
Isn't that right, Alex Sinatra?
If that were to happen, if Alex Sinatra were successful in her goal about bringing, more of a living wage to this league, maybe Shannon Turner isn't making that comment about not playing another 100 games.
Yeah. It would be awesome if she were wrong about that. It would be great to see that just not come to pass. And she hits 200 and we're all like, damn, Shannon Turner.
And then she says, well, I know there won't be another 200. And then you're like,
okay, yeah, that's maybe. So hats off to Shannon. Congratulations on what has already been an amazing career. And we look for more success in the future. And also maybe the Whale will win the Isabel Cup this year. And that'd be pretty
Connecticut
sweet.
Whale.
I would immediately buy another Connecticut Whale shirt if it was Isabel Cup champions. All right, we've got some kind of just like quick hits to finish off the episode today.
Poor Caleb Jones and Connor Murphy, they got their cars stolen while they were eating dinner at a restaurant in the most like ridiculous, like Nick Cage rolled up and said, "I'm going to steal some cars" kind of way. Murphy's 2017 Porsche Panamera and Jones' 2021 Jeep Trackhawk were both taken when somebody held up the valet at the restaurant which they were eating. These cars are both like $100,000 cars, and the video shows like a guy coming up and sort of maybe pressing a gun to the valet or something. Seemed like it was threatening him. Shit's getting crazy out there, even for NHL players. We got to take care of each other. I'm sure these cars just ended up like in Portland because that's where all the stolen cars end up.
Yeah,
they're just on Marine Drive with all the rest of the stolen cars.
If your car is stolen in Portland, just have somebody give you a ride out to Marine Drive. You'll probably find it.
Yeah.
Like there's a solid chance.
It's just
there.
chilling out there. Question is if you can get to it before someone uses it for shelter.
Or a toilet.
Speaking of stealing, Jack LaFontaine, the goalie for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers, got stolen like the golden orb in Indiana Jones and placed into service in Carolina. He's going to make a lot of money and apparently, went into this with his eyes open, consulted his teammates, and Carolina needs goalies very badly right now. They have injuries and COVID issues, and Jack LaFontaine is going to make a lot of money making this step, and he's going to jump immediately from college to the pros, like living the dream. So hats off to him.
This is kind of insane. I'll be the first to admit that I did not think the Freddie Anderson-Antti Ranta duo was going to work. Freddie Anderson has been unreal good this year.
Jack LaFontaine, what's he making in he's getting a pretty
just under $1 million.
Yeah, he's jumping into a pretty sweet signing deal. And apparently when he pulled his college teammates about it, they were like, "Are you crazy? You gotta go to the pros, man. Like they want you. We don't want you here. Fucking go play pro, buddy." It's sort of a feel good story. He's getting called up and pressed into service, and hopefully he can do pretty well. I mean, Carolina scores a lot of goals out in front of him, but they have also allowed some stinkers of some defensive efforts lately. So I don't know. Carolina is a exciting team because you kind of don't really ever know what you're going to get.
They are the box of chocolates. I am excited for Jack because this means that more goals can be scored by Michigan. So because Jack's a hell of a goalie. I think he's got a decent shot at being very good in the NHL. He was very, very good at Minnesota. Very cool for him. And go Blue.
Another big call up. Nicholas Lidstrom, the perfect human, was named VP of Hockey Ops for the Red Wings, rejoining him with none other than Stevie Y, and
Chris Draper and Dan Cleary, and they also said that their next step is getting Zetterberg back in the fold. Like
all in the front office. Like
why not?
Some point the front office will be better at hockey than the players on the ice.
It already is, I think. Yeah. The Zetterberg, I think, still lives in the Detroit area. It's kind of an interesting one because Nick Lidstrom lives in Sweden and is not coming back. Like he's like, no, I'm gonna stay in Sweden. It's fine.
Just perfectly zooming in.
It's kind of funny. My favorite take on this was they asked Steve Yzerman. They're like, well, is the perfect human going to be the perfect VP of Hockey Ops? And Steve Yzerman was like, no, he has to earn that. It was just like deadpan. He was like, well, he earned the perfect human moniker. I'm sure he can earn this one. And it's like, Steve Yzerman is just like, I don't know if he has fun, but like he is.
I think
fun.
he does.
He's always so serious.
Yeah, what I liked was the picture that circulated of the two of them in black turtlenecks from the 90s, looking like they were straight out of the Sprockets SNL bit.
Yes.
Like European artists like talking shit about postmodernism and then dancing to the robot. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's always awesome to have Nick Lidstrom around. So cool. Like, I'm thrilled that Nick Lidstrom is still part of the organization, but at the same time, he was never not going to be part of the organization. So, like, I don't know. Like, even when Steve Yzerman was the GM in Tampa Bay, it was like, well, he's still a Red Wing. Like, so, like, I don't know what he brings to the table. He's never done this before. He's also like one of the most brilliant hockey players of all time, as far as like just understanding the game and thinking 5-6 steps ahead to, you know, be as good as he was. He has one of the best hockey minds ever. He's one of the like 3 best defensemen in NHL history.
I'm willing to believe he still has his like game day ritual like still going. Like he just hasn't stopped like eating chicken parm at the same time every day. And like
his kids are like, Dad, why are you still eating on Eastern Standard Time? We're in Sweden now. He's like, I can't change it up. I'm perfect.
Also, what's going to happen is the Wings and the Canucks are going to play in the Winter Classic this year. And the alumni game is just going to be each team's front offices. So the Canucks added the Sedins and like
Liberto Berwango.
Yeah, you know, it's just
as long as Pavel Bure shows up, I'm happy.
Yeah, and they can probably like con Kevin Bieksa into coming back too. Like these front offices are like really good beer league teams or something in Canada now.
Oh God, can you imagine just like showing up to a beer league game and Nick Lidstrom's like, "Oh hey bud," you're like, no,
and the puck never gets past the red line.
Yeah. Oh. If like even on a dump and chase, he still manages to snag it. You're just like, damn it. In other news, John Klingberg has requested a trade from Dallas. He does not like playing in Rick Bowness's system. If you look at his numbers have definitely decreased since Rick Bowness took charge. Whether that's a player getting old and, you know, playing a different style.
He's like 29.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but no, I think it's literally like jealousy over Miro Heiskanen being the favored defensive son now,
which was always going to happen.
Yeah.
But he also, very importantly, his contract is up at the end of this year.
And he seems to think he can get like $8 million a year, which but maybe.
Have you seen Darnell Nurse? It's okay. Like,
willing to
he
believe
probably
that
could.
That Klingberg is better than Darnell Nurse and his albatross of a contract.
I understand why why Klingberg would. I'm not going to refer to people as their first name except for Steve Yzerman, and even then it's Stevie. I understand why he, from a financial standpoint and from a like personal satisfaction or professional satisfaction standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Also, it's Texas. You know, maybe he wants power.
Well, he should write his senator. There hasn't been any smoke about like him actually going anywhere.
No, but he also in like the 2 games that he's played since, he's like trying to go like action hero and looks like shit. So
good for him.
It's
smart play.
Yeah,
Dallas is currently out of the playoffs and doesn't look very good.
Yeah, he's definitely a tradable player. The question is,
especially with his contract, like they can just retain like half that salary for the rest of the season. And
yeah, the big question is to whomst and for how much?
Yes. And, you know, I don't know. His value is pretty low right now. I mean, it's only 4.25. That's not bad. But like Asa Lindell is making more than him. So
yeah. Can see how he would be a disgruntled employee. Well,
Dallas also gave Ryan Suter that 4-year, like $3.65 million contract. It's
which is so bad. Like,
whoops.
If you'd have just given that money to Klingberg, you'd be a better team right now.
Yeah, because Suter's not very good.
No, he's washed.
He also has a no movement clause.
So in other flailings of failing non-playoff teams, a Flyers insider has leaked that their scouts all wanted Cale Makar. Surprise! I mean, every scout that had their team pick a different player before Cale Makar in this draft, missing out on a franchise-changing generational talent at the defensive level, is kicking themselves. But the notable thing is they've just thrown Ron Hextall onto the bus, saying that he went against advice and picked poor Nolan Patrick, over Cale Makar in the draft. Nolan Patrick barely played for the Flyers, is now trying to rehab his career in Vegas. Is this like the current GM trying to blame the old guy for making a mistake that's going to cost him? Or is this, I don't know, some other sort of media posturing?
Bob Clark is like, he's a Flyers legend. I mean,
right. But the team is failing. Like, they are not going to make the playoffs. They don't look good. They're going to be sellers at the deadline. Like,
yeah, we're talking about like Claude
Giroux's
Giroux getting
going somewhere.
traded. Yeah, that's going to be rough. But I mean,
so
he got Rasmus Ristolainen.
you have the defenseman that takes himself out. I don't know. I think this is interesting in that it's like the canary signaling that the coal mine's about to collapse and this team is probably going to look drastically differently next year. I just hope for Carter Hart's sake that they can buy some actual defensemen and not be putting Rasmus and they cannot be relying on Keith Yandel to keep pucks out of his own net. Like,
well, both of their contracts expire after this season. So, but like you have to re-sign Rasmus Ristolainen, and you gave up a first-round pick for him.
right.
Also in hockey news,
Yeah, you know who Ken Holland isn't going to trade for? No.
you never know. Well, is he 45 and washed up? No, then he's still safe. Kodak Black had himself a moment, let's say.
He had a game.
He was at a game. He was attending a Florida Panthers game in a suite that he apparently thought was the glass was tempered so you couldn't see into it, because there is very obvious video footage of him, let's say, having sexual intercourse in that suite.
Yeah, the league investigated. George Peros heard about accused hit from behind, and and upon further review, he was just getting a dance.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. There was not likely any
Penetration.
Yeah, or contact. Like he was just behind a stripper, wild and
he was behind a stripper that he brought to the game.
yeah.
Do we know she was a stripper? I don't want to assume. If it might be his girlfriend. I don't know.
I mean, she was like dancing on all. She
was something
dancing on all
fours
and gyrating in. I don't know. Yeah, my guess was stripper, but maybe she just dances that way.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm pretty sure her ass was out. I don't know.
I don't want to speculate, but it looked pretty obvious from me. But anyways,
there was a video that came out from like the guy next to him, and it's very obvious that it like wasn't actually sex. It was
still,
it just looked a lot like sex because he's like
still,
bending
like,
over and like really close to her
and
ass.
thrusting.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place.
I think this is the time and the place. I think this has done more to grow the game of hockey than Gary Bettman could ever dream of.
That's true. I'll be perfectly honest. This is how old I am. I had no idea who Kodak Black was.
Me either. I was like, Kodak
wow.
Black, is that like a new expensive kind of film?
I'm fucking old. I had no idea who this was. So I had to look it up, which is also like, wow, Google this fella.
But apparently the league and team were, very happy to have a celebrity of his stature at the game, and like tweeted out a picture of him because not only did he have the box, he had some nice seats too, and so he was rink side.
Yeah.
Earlier, and then like later, the camera pans like from the stodgy office suite that he is next to. The front office is like literally one suite over from this guy.
Yes.
getting ass rubbed in his crotch. I don't know. Like, talk about the dichotomy there. Like one black man having time of his life at a hockey game, and then like a bunch of tight-lipped old white men, like unbeknownst to him,
like,
just like
with their
breathing the
buttholes
same air.
clenched.
Yeah. like worried about the Corsi percentages of their team.
If they even know what Corsi is. So Kodak Black's not really a great human. There's like several cases of sexual assault against him, and so like celebrating a dude at a hockey game who has that going on, like.
I mean, it's maybe a slight upgrade from the last celebrity that the Florida Panthers endorsed.
Was it Jethro Tull?
No, it was Kevin Spacey.
Okay, a little bit of a step up, yeah.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Baby steps is really appropriate here. It's weird all around.
So you're saying I may have been jumping the gun and tweeting Kodak Black for president?
Yeah, probably.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking bonkers. This is a whole banana sandwich of fun.
I love that, like, when the camera panned to him, like, they didn't pan away. They were just like, oh, we're looking at this now.
This is going on the internet real fast. Like,
yeah, that production manager must have been like, and cut to camera 3, and cut to
just stay here.
We're just gonna let this marinate.
This is great.
Like, it was ridiculous. It was like, I don't know. If you haven't seen the video, just Google Kodak Black at the hockey game.
Not at work.
Not at work.
Not at work.
No.
That is an NSFW moment. So Jack Eichel, look at that pivot. Jack Eichel is skating again. This is great for fans of the game. Great for Jack. He had his surgery, his much belated surgery after getting traded to Vegas. And he's already skating.
He makes the surgery sound like it wasn't a big deal. Like, he said he went out to dinner the night after with his parents. Like, it's insane to think that the Buffalo Sabres held him and crippled his fucking trade value for a surgery that doesn't even sound like it was actually as controversial as they were trying to make it sound, because apparently their fucking insurer wouldn't insure him after this surgery. You know, Buffalo got fucked over by their medical insurance, just like you and me. I don't know. I've never felt so connected to a National Hockey League franchise before. Well, the only thing that happens or needs to happen in the meantime is they need to, like, clear out a shit ton of salary cap to make room for him. Like, I was hearing that if they traded Evgeny Dadonov, like, that wouldn't be enough. Like, they would still need to jettison another player somehow. So that's going to be an interesting storyline to watch, is that we're probably going to see some sort of a Vegas trade. Who it involves, anybody's guess. But, like, no doubt that they're going to use Arizona and their weaponized cap and tanking to help them out. I don't know. I was like, what if they dump Pietrangelo and get back Chychrun, like, who's got an amazingly cheap contract?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Edmonton earlier. There was, like, talk that Ken Holland wouldn't give up a first for Jacob Chychrun. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Your defense sucks and he's super cheap. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. I will be amazed if Jacob Chychrun doesn't get traded. Like,
I wouldn't, honestly. If I can be totally honest about it, like, his contract is so ridiculously, stupidly cheap that
they love it.
And Arizona has gone all in on a rebuild, right? But he's only 23. So if you're aiming for, like, 3 years from now to be good, he'll be 26. Right. Like, I don't think he gets traded. I think he stays because they have so much money coming off the cap this year because they traded for, like, Louis Eriksson and Jay Beagle and Antoine Roussel. And, like, they just, like, they have a ton. Oh my God, they have a lot of. Phil Kessel comes off the cap,
and they've also
year.
made him the face of their franchise. Like, I understand that, but I also think, God, his deal it's got to look so good to, I don't know, someone trying to get cheaper while also getting back a Norris quality defenseman.
They have $30 million against the cap next year. They're fine. I guarantee you. I don't guarantee it, but, like, I have a sneaking suspicion that he does not get traded.
You're not going Men's Warehouse on me?
No, I guarantee. Fuck you.
You're gonna like the way you look.
I think we might see Phil the Thrill get traded this year.
I hope so. I hope, it'd be hilarious if they sent him back to Toronto. That would be amazing.
Oof.
And then he, like, showed up with a hot dog.
If he doesn't show up with a hot dog, I disown you, Phil Kessel.
Other positive news, Tuukka is back. He's played and looked good so far.
Yeah, he looked all right.
Jeremy Swayman is predictably sent down to the minors and can't, give Linus Ullmark giant hugs after every game and kind of hit you in the feels.
Yeah. Hopefully Tuukka kind of just takes Jeremy Swayman's place in the hugs, like, because that would be a real downer if we didn't get more of that, because that was just like one of the better things in the NHL this season.
It was adorable. I mean, Jeremy Swayman isn't going anywhere. He's the goalie of the future there.
Yeah, I mean,
but
this might be a last stand for Tuukka, like, at this point.
It definitely is. But the team is in need of so many other pieces. Like, they got to trade Ullmark, don't they?
I don't think you can.
Why
His
not?
contract is bad.
How bad?
4 years, $5 million for a okay 28.
$5 million per?
Yeah.
Oof! Really?
Yeah. There was a lot of question about why they're also paying Derek Forbort $3 million a year for the next 3 years.
I don't know.
And Mike Riley $3 million a year for the next 3 years, and John Moore
$5 million a year for 4 years. That sounds like perfect Ken Holland territory.
That's true. Yeah, he's not old enough. He'd have to be like 33.
But I mean, okay, Linus Ullmark has been pretty good. You gotta think that's enticing to somebody.
It's awesome to see Tuukka back. I have a lot of respect for him. I also picked him up about a month ago and stashed him on IR in our fantasy league.
That might win you the league.
That it was pretty savvy on my part, I think. But I think this is a huge win for Boston. You get one of the best goaltenders of their generation back on a cheap ass deal. Boston's kind of like, they're one of the more interesting teams just because like most of their stars are old.
Also, they've played like 5 games so far this year.
Yeah,
so
they have a lot of games to make up. So like they are now officially in the playoffs. I think they're the last seed in the East at this point, but I think they'll probably climb a little bit more just because they have so many games in hand.
I think they'll climb aggressively too. I mean,
they're a good team. They don't have center depth. They're not built for a cup because they don't have centers, but they're built to do damage in the playoffs for sure. But yeah, it's cool to see Tuukka back. I like him. I really appreciated him and his stance in the bubble and the way he kind of like stood strong after people just filleted him publicly because he had the audacity to care more about his family than a sports team. So, and I think it's cool to see him back.
Like the same people that filleted him, like, turned around and like, oh, okay, fine, I begrudgingly respect you now. Like,
yeah, he's a good hockey player. He seems like a good dude. Good luck to him. Thank you, everybody, for listening to yet another episode of the Handsome Hockey Podcast. You can find us on the internets at handsomehockey.com, Handsome Hockey Podcast on Instagram, at Handsome Hockey on Twitter, as we have stumbled across a couple of times today, or handsomehockeypod@gmail.com, or the Facebook page that we semi-regularly update with mostly memes and updates on our episodes.
And obviously you're listening to us somewhere, but we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Red Circle, and YouTube.
This has been episode 53. As we noted earlier, we're now over a year old. If you're still listening to us, why? I mean, thank you. And stay handsome, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to go eat some cake for baby's first birthday. Restez beau, tout le monde.